Well, we've come to the part of the lesson we've all been waiting for. What was the curse that came upon the Lamanites? This is obviously one of the criticisms of the Book of Mormon, saying that these verses here are racist, and they're trying to apply these verses to some kind of modern way of thinking, and attribute it to modern racism, and it's simply not the case. Okay, it's simply not the case. And the curse, right, had nothing to do with the color of anybody's skin, right? The curse, it says very clearly, was simply the fact that they're cut off from the presence of the Lord.
Yeah. They were no longer covenant people of the Lord.
And that is not something that the Lord inflicted upon them. That was something that they inflicted upon themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
They chose that.
Because of their iniquity, they separated themselves from the presence of the Lord, and ultimately from the righteous, the covenant people who the Lord led away from them.
Yeah.
That is the curse. The curse is they no longer had the blessings of the priesthood. They were no longer tied into that patriarchal order. And, the question would be, well, what about the darkness of skin that came upon them? There's lots of explanations for that.
Yep.
But the way I've always thought about it and interpreted it was that's an obvious result. You have to remember, Nephi's writing this well after the fact. He's recalling, okay? So when he's talking about this, he's talking about something that happened as a result of this separation and this cursing that come upon them. So what's really happening here is we're seeing a separation of the Lamanites from the covenant, the covenant people. And we're seeing them going off. And I mean, definitely they began marrying and procreating outside of that Lehite and the Lehi and Ishmael family and lines that came from Jerusalem. There was definitely mixing and procreating with other peoples that were already in the Americas, and things like that are taking place. So all it's saying is that through separation of geography and through separation of and through differences of genetics that were happening, there became a physical difference between Nephites and Lamanites. And that's something that happened at once, but obviously over time, both Nephites and Lamanites had cycles of righteousness and iniquity and intermixing and intermingling and falling out of the covenant. And this is not something that had any kind of lasting meaning. This mark or physical attributes, physical changes, it had no lasting meaning as it pertained to being blessed or cursed. Right, this is just a comment that Nephi is making after the fact, recollecting all the experiences that had happened. And it's anyone who's actually read the Book of Mormon, right? It's very clear that the Book of Mormon teaches about an impartial God who makes all blessings available, regardless of who you are, how you look, where you've been, where you come from, right? So it's there's a few phrases here that look bad when you read them out of context, but it's really a weak argument to try to attribute this to some kind of modern racism.
Yeah. Well, and they, I think the manual even asks, well, we don't know exactly what Nephi's referencing here or whatever. The truth is, he was probably 100% using skin color as just one of other factors that seem to denote to his people, hey, stay within the covenant. We need to try to stay within the covenant. That was one of the
different tribe.
It's different group of people. They don't believe what we believe. They don't have the covenants and the understanding of the Lord. He was not judging people based on their skin color, and that's the difference. Like pointing out an observation, and we're not trying to be apologetics here. Pointing out an observation is different than him judging people. And in fact, later on in 2nd Nephi himself clearly points out that the Lord denieth none that come up to him, black and white, bond and free, male and female, all are alike unto God. And so he very clearly, there was no prejudice, there was no racism on Nephi's part. He was just saying, here's an observation.
Thank you for watching. If you found this content spiritually enlightening, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Like the gospel, these little things make all the difference, and it helps the algorithm push out better content for everyone to enjoy on YouTube.